In June, construction will hit the ground to the most recognized stadium in the Lansdale area, a monument which has stood since 1971 and stands to symbolize a school and community. No matter how you walked through the gates, Crawford Stadium was a place to gather, a fitting place for many individuals to call home, and for some, it's a place to remember. Mr. James B. Crawford, a coach and a father.
He was well liked by everyone, and he seemed to like everyone. He always got along with people. Never heard him holler or anything, except maybe at me, but he enjoyed the competitions that were going on, whether it be football, track and field, basketball, or whatever. He had grown up with that his whole life, and he just thought that that was a good thing for people to get involved in.
Crawford Stadium was and is a special place to many people. The man known as Mr. Crawford Sr. was just as special as the grounds that would be named after him.
It was athletics because it kept them busy in a good platform with things that would help them in their future lives. It's a tough thing, you know, when you've been involved here for, 40 or 50 years, there's so many things that go on, and track has been a big part of my life. So, I can think back and there are a number of different experiences with that, but also, watching the football games on Friday night and seeing the competition and the students out looking forward to a Friday night with the homecoming games, etc., that go on, and the band out playing. It's just, a big spectacle here, like every week that there's a home game involved. And like I say, I think it's going to make a big difference for the number of uses it can get throughout the year.
Crawford Stadium may be receiving the makeover it deserves, but for the class of 2020 and the generations of Knights that have come before them, Crawford Stadium as it stands today means so much more than its name. A place where dreams were made, some may say fit for a king and queen. A place to honor more than the colors of our school. It stood as the grand stage to an enormous number of Knights and community members, and to one talented group in particular. This stadium was where curtain calls capped off every on-field performance.
Crawford Stadium has provided me and the rest of the Marching Knights with a stage on which we can show what we do, and there's nothing like marching band. It's so unique, and Crawford Stadium really provides that means by which we can show everyone else what we do. Playing in a huge stadium is amazing for any musician, for any performer, so Crawford Stadium really has affected us in that way.
A fall breeze in the air, and then Friday night lights turned up high. To the football team, Crawford Stadium became more than a sideline and a football field. It became home.
For me, it's my kids grew up on the sidelines. My two sons, Colby and Joey, were always on the sidelines during every game. When they were very young, I can remember my sons coming every game. They would come to me literally in the middle of the game, ask for money to go to the snack bar. So for me, it's about family. I had an opportunity to coach my three sons, my stepdaughters and my daughter were all, worked on it with the team as managers, what have you. So to me, with the players and my family, I always feel like we're one big family.
I started playing football when I was 5 years old for the Lansdale Cannoneers, and I also live right around the corner. I can hear the football games from my backyard. So I've been coming to games, or I've been hearing games ever since I was born. But ever since I started playing football, I've looked up to North Penn football players. I come to games and I'd look at guys that are 5 times my size, and I'd be like, geez, those dudes are massive. And then every single step since then, I've been trying to become a North Penn football player and be good enough to step out on those Friday nights and perform for the North Penn football team. So I think it's really nice to just finally get here, finally be in that position where other kids are looking up to me. So it's nice to be a good role model on and off the field for what it takes to be a North Penn football player and how you act as one. And I look forward to the future, seeing those kids that were in my shoes come up as North Penn football players.
North Penn football is family, and when it's needed most, family comes together. This past year, the senior captain of the team lost his father to cancer. The team honored Mr. McNamara with the hashtag #RayStrong throughout the season. It was at Crawford Stadium where the North Penn football team came together. And as for RJ, where his family story begins and lives on.
It meant so much to me because when my family first moved here, I was not born yet, but my sister was 2. And so my dad had no reason to be coming to the high school to watch any games, but he always did just because he wanted to see good football. And being able to excel at the level I did and play in the stadium that he watched other people play for so many years and watched so many good players come through, and being able to be one of those players that he got to see every Friday night and cheer for every Friday night was just kind of like one of my goals. Like, I wanted to be the person that he wanted to come see and everything. Like an improv stage where it's like a smaller stage, like smaller act, not many people coming to see, and then but they're working towards like Broadway or going into the movie business where whole communities, whole cities coming to watch in the NFL. Like that's my main goal, and Crawford is just one of the many steps that I have to take, and it was just great having it to be there.
No heat and no air. Not your ideal spot for a comfortable seat at a football game. Standing at 20x6 with a metal top and run-down wooden walls, the Crawford Stadium press box was more than the best seat in the house.
My home school stadium as a teenager, broadcasting on a high school TV station that kind of prepared me to do some professional broadcasts and some Division I level college broadcasts with big crowds, or I wasn't necessarily intimidated because it's all been there, done that. I think the beauty, if you will, of this press box is its coziness. You get to know everybody that works here. Overall, just a unique place to broadcast a high school football game. It might be a dump, but it's our dump.
There's a lot of people that I've known for a long time or that I've come to know through my time as an announcer at Crawford Stadium, and I think being a part of that atmosphere is just fantastic, and it's the uniqueness of Friday Night Lights and the uniqueness of football, but also knowing how many things occur in that stadium and being able to be close to the action flow of it, I think has just been a great experience. Joining together with a great sense of pride for whatever event might be occurring in that stadium, whether it's the smiles on people's faces at graduation when you're on the field as a teacher and you see that kind of stuff, or whether it's sitting up in the press box and seeing a big play happen and watch people rise to their feet and watch people come together. In whatever capacity it is, I just think you see things that you don't normally see just by being in a classroom or just by driving past the school.
To North Penn television, Crawford Stadium really was kind of the place to be. And as you mentioned, the student section was right there with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was a reason, those first few football games when we got here in sophomore year, I know you too, we went to football games as fans at first, just because, we wanted to experience, what it was like in the student section. But then, once we got into NPTV, we had that platform. I think whenever you get a platform, it really is a blessing because, you get to voice your opinion. We could go in the booth and we could commentate and just have some fun on Friday nights. And we didn't get to watch football from the student section. We got to experience and be a part of the football games. I know we weren't on the field, but we were a part in some way of the game instead of watching.
And Crawford Stadium really was the place to be on those Friday nights. So something that I know personally I'm never going to forget and always loved. You had the horizon going over just before every kickoff. It really was a sight to see, and getting to be in the press box with truly a best friend that's going to be for many years. I think I can say for you as well, Crawford Stadium, we have to thank for that. Even though they may have hung up their jerseys and cleats as seniors on their respective high school team, one game is still played each year, and one rivalry lives on. The two teams of our community meet on Crawford Stadium's field for a game which relives the rich history of local high school football. The Lansdale Catholic and North Penn alumni game.
The Thanksgiving games with Lansdale Catholic, especially in 1998 when North Penn won on the final play of the game, on not even a Hail Mary, it was a pass to the running back out of the backfield, and he made literally 11 players from the other team miss tackles on his way to the end zone. I've called missed field goals to end games with national championship implications in college football. I've called a double overtime national championship college football game, and still the 1998 Thanksgiving game between North Penn and Lansdale Catholic is the most exciting game I've ever called at any level. And it's just kind of cool thinking back that was, 22 years ago at this point. And it was just a remarkable experience.
To the track teams, it was a place of unity and a lane into history.
For Special Olympics here at Crawford Stadium, I know that we used to host the region-wide Special Olympics event every year up until a couple of years ago. And I know Unified Track, ever since we've had it for the past couple of years, we've practiced here and had our home meets here as well. It really gives the Special Olympics athletes a place to say that they competed in a big stadium. Like, this might be the only stadium they ever compete in, and I'm sure they're going to remember for the rest of their lives, and just being able to see the smiles on their face, and they'll have these pictures to look back on 20, 30 years from now, thinking that they competed in a stadium.
When running track, you have to kind of have the mental state, and if you don't have that mental state, then it's going to be hard for you to run and come out on the track and want to run. So track has kind of taught me that if I have confidence in myself, which Crawford Stadium allowed me to do and to gain while I was running track, then you can succeed anything. I think that's part of the reason why we have excelled and reached these crazy records, and North Penn has always been a high competing team. So for me, joining this team really helped me feel a part of something, for all the blood, sweat, and tears, even though, at the time it was painful, but that's why I am the way I am today. And Crawford Stadium has been here for not only track, but I've made so many memories at the football games. I was on homecoming court, so I got to be on the field and just experience that, having the entire crowd there, and Crawford Stadium provided that experience for me.
A field where there were many hellos and many farewells. Crawford Stadium was a place to gather, a place to perform, a place to praise, and a place to remember.
I'm glad that this year I'm going to get to graduate on the field that I've been on for 4 years running track on and making memories with my friends. So that's what it would mean to me.
So whatever big task it is that you might have coming, whether you fail at that task, that if you give your very best effort, no matter what, you will one day achieve greatness.
It was exactly what I needed to just take a breath and live in the moment. To not think about what is to come or what has already happened, but to just be present and enjoy.
We can't wait for others to transfer their spark. Rather, we must initiate and ignite our own flame.
Crawford Stadium was the home for generations of North Penn Knights, a testament to the changing times and new classes that have gone through the stadium for 49 years. To that, we say farewell to the original stadium and thank you for being
a stage,
Community and pride.
Confidence.
Beginning of my media career.
Greatest classroom I've ever had.
Place of inclusion.
Home.
Home.